Hello and welcome to our inaugural episode of Schoolhouse Magic. I'm Cassie.
I'm Erik.
And the point of this little sub-series within our House of Magic is to teach you guys some of the storylines and just general verbiage and slang and all that stuff that Magic players use that newbies may not understand what it means.
Or if you've been out for a long time, you might just don't know either.
Or maybe you just haven't had the chance to research, or you're a kitchen table player. There's so many reasons you don't know this stuff, and that's okay. So, we're going to start our first episode. We're going to be talking about the different guilds and color combinations within Magic and what they're referred to. Currently, right now, a big deck in Standard is known as Temur energy. Now, you might understand the energy part of it, but what does Temur mean? Where does it come from? Why do we call it that? This is going to be a series of episodes where we discuss all of these guilds, their characteristics, where they come from, and what they refer to.
Just basically a little more history and a little more in-depth analysis of each one.
And a little bit of the storyline of Magic too. Magic has a very in-depth storyline that goes so much further beyond pieces of cardboard cards.
They do.
So let's go ahead and get started. There are different color combinations throughout Magic. So, of course, you can have monocolored cards, which are single colored cards, and you can even have monocolored decks that only use one color of mana throughout the entire deck. A good example of this would be mono red, which is a very aggro heavy deck. A lot of players use two color combinations in their decks.
So these two color combo decks each are represented within the Ravnica system?
Set.
Block.
The Land of Ravnica. Now, the Land of Ravnica was introduced in the first Ravnica block, and we returned to it in the Return to Ravnica block. Now, the Land of Ravnica was separated by these guilds that were controlled by what they call a guild pact. It's kind of like a constitution or some sort of contract between all of these guilds. Now, the Ravnica block, or the initial Ravnica block, ran from 2005 to 2006. And these Ravnica guilds, they each had their own part in the society and the Land of Ravnica. So one guild maybe was in charge of being the lawyers, and another guild was the doctors, and another guild was known to be the construction or the labor workers who had to keep track of, the plumbing, and they were kind of your handymen, if you will.
Your blue-collar workers, your white-collar workers.
So each guild has their own purpose, each guild has their own specialty, and each guild even comes with its own mechanics. And when we returned to Ravnica, in that block, each guild got a new set of mechanics as well. Mechanics are those little keywords on the cards, and each guild had a mechanic that was specific to it. So what we're going to go over now is we're going to talk just an introduction to these guilds. And then as we continue this series, what we'll do is we'll take a closer look at each of these guilds and explain to you their backstory and their individual history.
So some of these names should sound pretty familiar to most people. The first one we're going to do is Azureus, or Azureus Senate. It's white-blue.
Followed by that is the House of Temur. They're blue-black.
And then we have the Cult of Rakdos, which is black-red.
The Gruul clans, which are red and green.
And the next one is the Izzet League, which is the blue-red.
And then we have the Selesnya Conclave, which are green and white.
Then we have Golgaria Swarm, which is black-green.
The Orzhov Syndicate, which are white and black.
Then we have Boros Legion, which is red-white.
And ending it all up is the Simic Combine, and they are green and blue. So those are going to be your general two-color guilds. They all have their own shield, they all have their own colors and their own mechanics. And as we continue our Schoolhouse Magic series, we will go in-depth to each of these guilds and learn a little bit more about them. One episode might contain like 2 guilds max, but we'll really try to give them each their own.
Their own
time.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk about the 3-color guilds, or clans, or shards even, because the 3 colors come from a few different sets.
Yes, or three different ideas on why they came about.
2.
Oh yeah, two ideas. So if you look at the back of the Magic card, right there, you'll see the 5 orbs of colors. That's where it all kind of stems from. So as we go through, kind of go through a little more of the history and stuff. But when they talk about the 3 colors, they have what they call ally colors and then enemy colors. So the ally colors is going to be, the center color is going to be your main one. Then the color that's on either side of that orb is going to be its allies. And then the enemy colors, it's going to be the orb across from it and then 2 orbs on the other side of it.
So if we think about this in terms of like the color spectrum, if we just go completely out of magic and talk art for a bit in the color spectrum, blue is made from, or sorry, not blue. Green is made from blue and yellow. So green's opposite or enemy would be red, because red doesn't go into making green, and blue and yellow are both green's friends or allies.
Yes.
I mean, that's not how it works in magic, but if you need a different visualization, that's a good way to visualize it outside of magic. I could also talk the circle of fists in magic or in music, but I don't want to lose our audience.
Or your husband from boredom of music. I love you.
I love you too. So there are 2 blocks that the 3 color guilds come from. So we're going to start with the older block and then come to the newer block. So the older block that these 3 color sets or combinations come from is Alara. So Alara is a land that is very heavy in mana. It has all the mana colors and it's rich in them. It has tons of mana and energy and magic available to the people to use. And then, tens of thousands of years ago, once again the land of magic exists in its own universe and its own timeline, but tens of thousands of years ago, the land of Alara was broken into 5 different shards by an unknown planeswalker, and as far as I'm aware, we still do not know who this planeswalker is who divided this land. Now, it didn't just metaphorically divide them, it physically divided this world into 5 different land blocks. For some reason, each of these shards of land only had 3 mana colors within it, and it had 2 mana colors that it didn't even have in that land area at all. That's just how the broken up works. It's magic.
It's magical.
It's magic and it's magic. And for each shard of land had a color that was primary to it, that they could get the most of that mana from, and then it was supported by 2 secondary colors. Now, eventually, many, many years later, but now like today, all of these shards got recombined into being one large piece of land. And what they did is they combined into a circle, with each shard being like a little pizza slice inside the circle. The problem with that is that they had been living apart so long that now they're trying to learn how to live together. And they're clashing and they're battling, and this whole Alara block is about how they are going to come together and learn to survive together after being separated for all of these years. So there are 5, obviously, shards of Alara.
So, and one of the first sets is Bant. And again, these names should sound somewhat familiar to you. Now, for me, I've always heard these. I always thought, what are these? I keep hearing these names, but what the hell is it? So, and this kind of goes into what it is, or at least more of an understanding what color schemes people are playing with. So you have Bant, which is a white primary, and then a green-blue backing it up.
After Bant, we have Esper. Now that is a blue primary with a white and black secondary color scheme.
Now, I'll be honest, I always thought Esper was more white because of Elspeth. I thought it was kind of a spin off the name until we did our research and it wasn't. Mm-hmm. So then we have Grixis, which is a black primary with a blue-red backing it up.
And then we have Jund. Jund is a red primary with Jund is red primary with black and green backing it up.
And then we have Naya, which is green with a white and red backing it up as well.
Now, just in case you're wondering how the layout of these works, we have Esper in between Grixis and Bant. Bant is between Esper and Naya. Naya is between Bant and Jund. Jund is between Naya and Grixis. And then Grixis is going to between Esper and Jund. So you can kind of see how that circle would work.
So, and now we're going to move up to a little more of a recent sets, I guess probably within the last 5 years-ish. No, 3 years.
It's pretty recent.
3 years. We go to cons of Takir clans.
So, Tarkir is the land that we're talking about here. Tarkir is the world or the area or the plains, I believe is what they call it in Magic Realm.
Oh, there you go, plains.
Hey, we learn shit!
Enough, we can only remember shit.
So Tarkir is a plains that was once dominated over by dragons. And eventually the humans came in and fucked shit up like they always do.
No,
the humans...
We make everything so great.
The humans came in, and in this huge battle, they destroyed the majority of the dragons in order to take over the land. So now, because people are people, it is a battle-torn land. The dragons used to live more in unity, but then the humans came, now we hate each other. So it's a battle-torn realm with 5 clans fighting for supremacy. So these clans, they each worship this god dragon. Because it's funny, they had to ruin the dragons, and then they had to find one to be a god, and then they have to worship this. So each of these god dragons are now the leaders of these individual clans. And in doing so, and having this leader, this leading god dragon, the clans strive to embody a specific element or characteristic of the dragons that they worship.
Yeah.
So we'll talk not only when we discuss these ones, really quickly, just as we go through our list, we're going to discuss the name, the colors, the characteristic they're trying to embody, and then the dragon that they worship.
Yep. All right, so the first one we're going to do is Absinthe House, which is white, black, and green. And its main keystone, I guess, characteristic trait that they go after is endurance. And it's led by the Dramoka Brood. Brood.
2 O's say ooh.
Ooh.
After that, we have the Jeskai Way, which are black, red, and white. Now, they strive to be cunning, and they are led by the, oh god.
Ujutai?
And they are led by the Ojutai brood of dragon.
And then we have the Sultai Brood, which is black, green, and
Black, green, and blue.
Black, green, and blue, which you might also hear it being called as bug. That's kind of an older term for it and stuff. And their main trait that they go after is ruthlessness. And they're led by the Silumgar Brood.
Silumgar.
Silumgar.
Now say it towards the camera.
Silumgar Brood. We'll get this.
That's followed by the Mardu Horde, which are red, white, and black. Now the Mardu Horde are all about speed. Go figure, red and black together, they're going to be about speed. That's an aggro color for sure. They're led by the Kolagon Brood.
And then our last one is going to be the Temur Frontier, which is going to be your green, black, and red. And their trait is savagery. Of course, you got green, black, and then red is going to blow some stuff up.
Savage.
And then they're led by the Atarka Brood.
So when we're talking about Temur energy, that's going to be a green, black, and red combo deck. I think it's mostly green and black, but they do throw some in there just to fuck your shit up, don't they?
Yeah. Let me bolt this. Let me bolt that. You got a creature? Haha, no more.
Okay, so those are the 2 sets of 3 color clans that I was able to find in my research. Once again, I'm not an expert magic historian. Technically, I'm a music historian. That's what I got my degree in. So, I'm not saying that I'm the best at this. Let me know if I'm wrong. Feel free to give me constructive criticisms in the comments.
Us?
You did none of this research.
I was just trying to take the head off of you a little bit.
Oh, honey, you do that enough as it is. So let's go on to our 4 color schemes. The 4 color schemes are known as, or at least they're named after the Nephilim creatures. Once again, this is from my research online. So a Nephilim is a creature type from the Guild Pack set, which is back in Ravnica. So we're back in Ravnica, and in Ravnica, the plains of Ravnica, there are these creatures. They are large, they are aggressive, and they are dumb.
Kind of like humans.
You're either pretty or you're smart. You don't get both. Now, the Nephilim were members of the cult of Yor, which were not a member of the guild pact that we discussed earlier. They were their own thing. Technically, they were supposed to be secret, guildless group of Ravnica. And they had the guilds of Ravnica aren't going to let that go down. Like, you can't be a thing here and not be a part of our club. So they had to subdue this cult many, many years ago. Years before the Ravnica block even happened. But remember how each of those guilds had their own traits. Well, these construction worker guild people, they started doing construction in the district of Utvara. And you all know how construction is. It's noisy, it's loud, it makes your whole house shake. Well, the Nephilim woke up.
Yep.
And the Nephilim started feeding on these dragons, and it became to pass that these guys could absorb the powers of others, which is how they gained so many colors to be representing them. So they're each represented by 4 mana colors, and there's 5 Nephilim in these 4 mana color sets.
So the first one we're going to talk about is the Your Tiller, which is going to be your white, blue, black, and red colors.
Next we have the Glintai. They are blue, black, red, and green.
And then we have the Dune Brood, which is going to be our black, red, green, and white.
Then we have the Ink Treader. They are red, green, white, and blue.
Then we have Witchmaw. I kind of like that. Witchmaw. And they are green, white, blue, and black.
And then, of course, you can have some cards or some decks even that are 5 color. These aren't represented by any particular guild, but they do have a few names for them. They can be Rainbow, Domain, 5 color, or even Wooburg. Red, blue.
No, white.
White,
blue, black, red, green.
Wooburg.
And then you do have those some people that are a little on the crazy side that play with just artifacts and stuff. And if you look back to the old days when Magic first came out, the artifact cards were more of a brownish color than a silver.
Oh, they're silver.
Color. And they used to call them mud. So you had people that had mud decks. And that was just basically there's all artifacts. And you really don't hear that term too much anymore. But in the older people, or not older people, the older crowds, people who've been playing for many, many years, they still kind of use that terminology every once in a while. You'll hear it being sling around.
I'm not sure if there's any, at least in standard, viable mud decks right now.
No.
That's probably more of a vintage and legacy thing anyway, just because, I mean, there are some artifact creatures, and then you have your vehicles that you can use creatures to equip, but do you have the strong enough artifact creatures? Yeah, it's kind of one of those,
Yeah, there's not just solid artifact decks and stuff, at least not in standard. And there probably won't be for many, many years.
If ever again.
Yeah.
So, this is kind of just a short intro. Not short. This is just an intro. Not short at all. This will not be a short video. But this is an intro to the color schemes within Magic and the terminology we use to say them, but also why we use that terminology. So as we go further, what we're going to be doing, like I said, is giving you an in-depth look into each of these lands, these planes, and these guilds, or clans, or
the color combinations. Shards,
because they're, or Nephilims. Also, Magic, if you could use, like, a more equal distribution of consonants and vowels in your words. So, here's our first episode of Schoolhouse Magic.
We had fun. Hopefully you guys learned some stuff. I know we did as we were doing some research and looking up. So we hope you guys enjoyed it. If there's any topics or anything you guys want us to talk about in the future, just, message us, comment down below, and we'll try to get on it and stuff.
Or, if you have any corrections to make.
Or, yeah. Please let us know. We're always out for good criticism and make sure we get the right information out to everybody.
Like, subscribe, share, thumbs up, comment. See you later.
Bye.